and I'm looking forward to seeing what you prepared for us. Today, you're going to discuss if everyone should have a right to own a gun. I think the topic is pretty interesting, and I think there's a lot to say about it. So it will all be rather easy for you, I guess. So from the bottom of my heart, I wish you all good luck, and I think we're all ready to start. So speaker one, feel free to start when you're ready.
Dear Marshall, dear jury, audience, and your opponents. My name is Laura Majewska. I represent Class Single MP. And in today's debate, whose thesis is all people should have the right to own their own weapons. I'm the first speaker of the proposal team. The members of our team are second speaker Agata Rujarczyk, third speaker Agnieszka Gorczaty, fourth speaker Michalina Posiłek. Our task will be to defend this using substantive arguments. Ladies and gentlemen, the subject can be considered extremely absorbing and difficult. Therefore, at the beginning, I will defend how our team understands today's thesis. In our opinion, the right to possess their own weapons should be understood mainly as the right of defense. We believe such a law is a natural human right, and this state should prove why a given individual cannot use it, and today grant this right to individuals. Everyone, without exception, should have the right to defend themselves and feel safe. Weapons as defense tools are, in our opinion, indispensable in emergency situations. Its egalitarianism is also worth noting. Therefore, our argument will be based on concepts such as freedom and the need of security.
Thank you very much. Speaker one with the opposite team. You're ready to start?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Thank you. Dear Marshall, jury, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Dominik Stasiak, and I'm the first speaker of the opposite side in today's debate. At the beginning, I would like to introduce the rest of my team. So there's Antoni Drozdek, Lubomir Mioczyk, and Gosia Janiszewska. The topic of today's debate is all people should have the right to own guns. And what that right means is that anyone could legally buy, possess, and use a firearm. We absolutely do not agree to that. We think that all people should have right to, for example, provide property, health, or education, but definitely not to owning something as dangerous as a gun. That doesn't mean we want a total ban. We just don't want everyone to have access to weapons. After all, this is an object designed to cause harm. We see the enormity of dangers resulting from giving such a right to every human. The biggest problem is the verification of owners' intentions. There are not only many bad people who would use a weapon for a crime, but also many people with various mental disorders. If we legalize guns, it could fall into the wrong hands too easily, and that could result in a tragedy. We know that having a gun might make you feel safe, and most of people want it for self-defense. But if you will be attacked, the criminal will have a weapon too. That is why there are services such as the police, so that the common man does not need a pistol. We know that maybe it doesn't always work as it should, so probably it would be better if we more focus on that problem. The government should keep citizens safe in the other ways than by giving them access to guns. We see more risks than advantages in this solution. So in a few minutes, the next members of my group will explain the dangers of giving that right to all people. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much. So speaker two, speaker second of the positive team, are you there with us?
Okay. Dear Marshall, dear jury, audience, and opponents. The first point that should be noted in our today weapons debate is that guns can be obtained from illegal sources anyway. Criminals can get it on the black market. As a result, potential victims remain without the possibility of defense. Because the right to possess a weapon isn't denied to criminals who may have it anyway. But people who are attacked are denied. this right. In the event of an assault, every second of your reaction counts and matters. The guns allows for quick and effective defense. And another important issue is the egalitarianism what comes with the position of guns and the associated equalization of opportunities for the attacker and the victim. Because if the offender is a well-built man attacking a petty teenager, it is known and obvious that the abuser is in a winning position. But in case they both have guns, the changes are even. Additionally, it should be remembered that the awareness that a potential victim may be armed prevents a burglar, thief, or other criminal from committing a prohibited act. And the last thing is that we don't use weapons only for our own defense. We also use them to protect our family, our friends, or just weaker people who are in danger. The state and government that manage weapons and have access to them are not always able to protect people and ensure the safety of everyone in every place and every situation. So we must be able to defend ourselves and each other. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So second speaker of the negative team.
Thank you, Marshall. Ladies and gentlemen, as a second speaker, I would like to show you risks of letting everyone have firearms. As a group not supporting the thesis, we do not exclude the option that guns could be allowed, but they definitely shouldn't be available for everyone. It is impossible to verify every single person's intentions in having a gun. It will be much easier to commit a crime or theft. Agreeing for a permit for everyone may make people having mental disorders hurt themselves or even their relatives. To make sure that there is a lower chance of that happening, there should be checkups provided for everyone buying a pistol. It would be really problematic to make at least one doctor in every city work only in this field, and also would cost a fortune. Teenagers bullied at school could take a revenge on bullies using a gun, which is 100% chances of a tragedy occurring. The simplest example is United States, where many school shootings take place and they affect not only the bullies, but also many innocent people. 55 school shootings, during which 18 people died and 80 got injured, happened in year 2019 alone. Bullies should be punished, but not by being violated or put in a situation where they can lose a life. Also, no one should do justice on their own. There are special units for this. Even though not every member of them acts right, and sometimes they feel more powerful than civilians only because of their permissions, they are the ones who should do justice, not by violating, but through a lawsuit, in court. In countries like ours, where a majority of people did not have a contact with a gun, the amount of accidents caused by weapons will be huge. Lack of knowledge about how to handle a gun is really dangerous, both for the owner and for his surroundings. To make everyone almost completely safe, the country would have to organize trainings, which would be a huge additional cost. There will certainly be people that will not attend them out of laziness and still be dangerous to their environment. Furthermore, when people have a choice to carry a gun, they do, because it makes them feel safe in any situation. But in the moment when a person is assaulted, they could kill an offender by an impulse instead of just defending themselves. Then it is not only about self-defense anymore, it is an actual murder. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much. So it's time for the speaker 3 from the first team to start.
Dear jury, dear Marshall, dear audience. The first arguments we heard, it was about the dangers of the weapons. I wanted to notice one thing. Free people have guns. For centuries, every citizen could have a weapon that was used to defend himself and his family. So why is it illegal now? We owe it to the history. It was the invaders, occupiers, such as Nazis and communists, who took this right from the citizens, who took this right
from people to make them powerless in fear of losing power by the government. Access to weapons is not a privilege, it's a human right to be defended. We heard also about USA, about the teenagers. I wanted to focus on one thing. In Norway, about 10% of the citizens owns firearms for hunting and civil defense purposes. At the same time, it is the country with the lowest firearm homicide rate in Europe. Permits for the acquisition and possession of weapons are more willingly granted than, for example, in Poland. In Czech Republic, it's even easier to acquire the firearms. License is granted after passing a course in its use. As you can see, legality of weapons in the world depends on a specific country and historical and cultural conditions. However, as the example of some countries, such as Norway shows, a liberal approach to the subject does not have to be associated with an increase in crime. We heard also about the government and all the things the government has to do to educate people. The role of government, in our opinion, of my side, is prior to the introduction of the gun right, is a broad information campaign. This is where the information of the consequences of irresponsible behavior, conditions for obtaining weapons, and proper use of them should be found. And why not other means of self-defense? We heard that gun is not for defending ourselves, but to make the justice. Exactly. Self-defense. The attacker has the means to attack. Pepper spray or someone else we can defend ourselves with is nothing compared to a firearm. It is a balance of forces, help for the weaker, as Agata said before. And we are also heard about shooting in the school. It's an extreme cases. As I said before, in Norway, it doesn't happen so much. Of course they do, but we need to look at them from a broader perspective. During the argument, we won't take our gun and try to make someone do what we want. We don't pull out a knife, pepper spray, or a stun gun. Incidents involving the use of weapons are often caused by the use of drugs. We hear it in media about extremes. That's everyone. Thank you. Everything.
Thank you very much. For the speaker of the opposite team, feel free to start.
Dear Marshal, members of jury, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Tadeusz Mrowczyk, and as a third speaker, I would like to bring down the arguments from proposition. So, at first you said that guns are for our sake, and all people have need to have right to own it. And the problem is that, of course, you said about black market and about for now, the thieves can buy their gun and make some crime with a gun without legalizing it all around the country. But when it will be available in every market or in more markets, it will be basically it will look like you can steal me with a gun and I can defend you with a gun. So it will be. I mean, people will kill each other, and I don't think that it is the greatest solution about it. And as we said, it will be better to provide more safety in country by police and not by letting other people like buy themselves guns and make law. And you said that for today we have pepper spray, and I think it's the most common thing to provide safety for us. And I mean, like, when you're about to be stolen, it look like three guys like running towards you, and you won't have a gun with you, or will you? When like three guys will take you over, like push to the ground, you won't have time to take a gun and like hurt him. You most likely kill him or didn't even shoot him. And if you have pepper spray, I think it will be much easier to protect yourself. Like, it's ironic, but it'll be like that. And the most important thing that I want to say is that we can argue that statistics in Norway are better, but still in Norway it is 10%, only 10%, and only in US like it is 50%. So it is much difference, and I think that Polish society, it depends on society. You said that it depends on society, and I think that basically Polish society isn't like the greatest society to legalize guns, because like we have pandemic, and pandemic, like all of people, lots of people lose their jobs, and like our market is crushed, and we have inflations, and like everything is breaking down. So if you now want to legalize the gun, it will have like a great influence on society. And I think that basically legalizing the weapons is always a bad idea. And now during the COVID, it is the worstest idea possible. So it is all I want to say. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Speaker Forward from the positive team.
Okay. Dear Marshall, dear jury, dear audience, and you, dear opponents. Public opinion has always been divided on the subject of right to own a gun, and it continues to be a highly controversial and problematic issue. From the statements of my teammates, we can see how important it is to provide access to it for ordinary citizens. It gives us a strong sense of security and enables us to defend ourselves, our property, or our family, which should be a fundamental human right. Furthermore, it gives the opportunity to weaker person to level chances with the stronger, more physically fit. A great illustration of this can be an attack by a man on a woman who usually is weaker than her assaulter and has no chance to defend herself. In such a situation, the victim needs to depend on the emergency services, which is not always able to notify about the incident, and the time they need to get to the site can significantly magnify the victim's disadvantage. We must also remember that the ban of the possession of a weapon without a permit is not tantamount to a 100% lack of access to it by an ordinary citizen. Preventing the purchase of weapons from a reliable and verified source is the main driver of the expansion of the black market and the trafficking of illegal weapons. From researches conducted in countries such as Switzerland, Norway, or the Czech Republic, we can behold that the rate of crimes involving guns has not increased. We believe that the attacker's awareness of the possible harming of the victim discourages him from committing the planned crime. Society would also become more familiar with the gun ownership and the risks it possesses over time. They knew how to handle it or how to protect it, for example, against children. The state economy would also benefit from the introduction of weapons into the general circulation, as it will allow the development of the armed industry. Overall, we strongly believe that the gun ownership is not just a civil right,
that has a far-reaching positive effects on the economy, on lowering crime rates, and on the safety of each of us as individuals. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much. So now it's the time for the last speaker of today's debate to speak, so feel free to start.
Dear Marshall, dear jury, dear opponents, dear audience. As a fourth speaker, I will now try to sum everything my team has set up. First of all, I want to remind you that our point isn't about banning any form of having a gun. We want to reassure you that from our point of view, guns shouldn't be available for everyone. Second of all, I want to talk about risks associated with giving every single person an opportunity to own a weapon. It could be a huge problem because of the increase of crime, gun-related accidents, and also expenses, for example, on special mental tests. I also want to talk about the fact that people knowing they can easily they can easily own a gun would definitely do that, mostly for the safety. The fact that they need to put an effort to achieve their goal, which in this case is owning a pistol, will discourage them to try. But even if you have self-defense intentions, would it be a good idea to have a gun? Many people don't know how to use or even hold it properly. The government must have provided necessary tests for everybody who wants to have the right to own a weapon. And yes, of course, that would exclude potential accidents connected with stressful situations and lack of knowledge about fighting. But is it a good idea to let everyone learn how to use firearms? It would be more dangerous to the rest of the society and would certainly increase the level of violence. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much. So I think we're already done, so it's time to decide who the winner is. I think we just need like a minute or two for our jury to decide. Is it okay?
Yeah, I was going to ask you how much time you need, but just feel free to discuss, to debate on the debate, and just then let us know.
Okay, so I think we're going to do it like online, but not here.
Okay.
Just to text each other, I guess. I get a text the guys, and we'll be ready in like 2 minutes, I guess.
Okay, so let's have a short break and let's be back in 2 minutes.
Yeah, thank you.
But there were 4 of us in the jury, and I'm not really sure who the last person is, because I know there's me and Kuba, but there was a girl too.
Yeah, I'm here and I'm waiting.
Yeah. Give me a second. Okay.
Piotr, I forgot about questions to speakers.
Oh yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. Okay, so if you have any questions, feel free to ask them now, I guess. Are there any questions? No? Okay, that's fine too. So just a minute more, I'm going to text Daria, I guess, and we're going to talk about who the winner is in a minute.